Is it really possible to pay no income taxes without going to jail?
Yes, yes, and yes.
And
There
you've been
are,
doing this for
uh,
since 2014, I believe you said, right?
yes, yes, I have.
I must admit, I'm skeptical.
And
Of course, I and everybody listening would love to not have to pay income tax. So, just to give people a little teaser, and we'll dive into the details, but your method involves you say, go ahead and file a tax return,
Mhm.
show the government that you've made money,
Right,
but when you deposit checks that you receive as income, you endorse them under your method in a special way that converts them instead of $2, which are Federal Reserve notes, to what kind of notes?
United States notes.
United States notes. And you say that United States notes are tax exempt. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. When you get your paycheck from your day job, if you will,
Mhm.
and you're a W 2 employee, what do you do?
Okay, in my case, I receive my paycheck through direct deposit,
Okay, which
which is
doesn't
very
allow you to endorse it, and that's kind of the technique you talked about.
right, right. However, and most businesses pay their employees with direct deposit these days. So much
Sure.
money is moving around electronically.
Yep.
So there is a form called a direct deposit authorization,
Okay.
and that gets filled out prior or as soon as you become an employee. And there is an authorization on there that you sign that substitutes for your endorsement.
Okay.
So on that paperwork, you notate that you're redeeming for lawful money pursuant to Title 12, subsection 411.
Okay. So, in other words, you fill out this direct deposit form, and above your signature, you write in this verbiage that you just said. You're say it
Yes.
again. What is the verbiage?
Redeemed for lawful money pursuant to Title 12 USC 411.
Okay. So, Title 12 U.S. Code, I guess, right?
Yes, US code.
411. Isn't it funny that it's 411 like information, the old number for information?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a coincidence.
All right. So this code we'll talk about in a moment. So when those checks go into your bank, do you bank at a big normal bank like one of the big banks or?
Yeah, I bank at Chase.
Okay, so you bank at Chase, big huge bank, right? This money goes into your account. Then what happens?
So that verbiage on the endorsement signals to the bank that they cannot treat this the same way that they treat Federal Reserve notes because you've made this conversion or redemption or exchange. They cannot fractionally lend against the money that you deposit.
Well, they must hate that. I'm surprised they haven't kicked you out.
They don't like it.
Yeah.
However, Title 12, 411 says they shall be redeemed, which means it is not maybe or when we feel like it, or it shall is mandatory in legal terminology.
Okay, so the bank has to like earmark your direct deposits from your employer, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now, how do you pay your bills? I mean, because
The same way,
your account is in dollars, right? Your checking account.
right?
Okay, so
Right?
I
I
don't
pay
get
my
it.
bills exactly the same way.
With good old fashioned checks or online bill pay or wire transfer or whatever, right? ACH.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. The important transaction is when the money enters your bank account.
Okay.
That's the point of redemption.
Do you go to the ATM and withdraw Federal Reserve notes, otherwise known as dollars?
A person can, but if you've deposited the money in, then they come out as what you put them in.
So,
Makes sense?
can you show us? I mean, we're on video now. Can you
Yes.
show us one of these U.S. notes? I'm curious. What do they look like?
Actually, okay, so they look very similar to Federal Reserve notes. However, back in 1971, the U.S. Treasury put out a statement saying that Federal Reserve notes serve the purpose of both currencies. So they stopped at that point in time issuing physical United States notes.
Okay.
There's 300 million of them in circulation, and that comes from Title 31, subsection 5115. And it talks about how they're issued and who issues them. And there's no more than 300 million currently in circulation. They cannot be held as reserve.
Are they, when you say there's 300 million, do they have the same value as a dollar?
They have the exact same dollar as
That's
Federal
not
Reserve
very
note.
much. Just 300
I
million.
know.
One wealthy person could gobble up the entire supply, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, at this point in time, there is so little demand for United States notes because people do not know that they are available for use. You know, my hope is that in time when people learn about this, there will be greater demand, and that will be revised upwards.
Okay.
Yes, it's like $1 a person for the national
But
population.
yeah, basically. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've got this money in your account. It's earmarked as U.S. notes. You pay your bills normally with Federal Reserve notes, otherwise known as common dollars.
Right?
If you withdraw cash, do you get it in dollars? I kind of asked you that, but I don't know if you
Yes,
really answered.
yes, you still will physically receive Federal Reserve notes.
Okay,
What
dollars,
makes it
aka dollars. Okay,
dollars?
got it. All right.
Yes.
What makes what? Is the way the
What
money goes in, you said.
is the way the money goes in, and that you have documented your election of which currency you're using.
Okay. And you file a tax return every year, right?
Yes.
Okay. And tell us what your tax return says or what it looks like. What do you do there? You have to do something special, right?
Yes, there's an area where after I put in my, W-2 income and, various things, there's a place to say redeemed for lawful money, 12 USC 411, and the amount of my income that I have redeemed.
So in other
And
words, if you make
I-
$100,000, you could redeem, in quotes, 80,000 of it in federal or in U.S. notes, right?
Correct.
And 20,000 in Federal Reserve notes, aka dollars.
Sure.
So, and then you would pay tax only on the 20,000,
Correct.
the Federal Reserve notes.
Correct.
So, okay, but with you just take 100% of it in U.S. notes, right?
Yes.
So you're basically taking the U.S. notes as a tax deduction, in essence, a loss.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So in that example I gave earlier, if you make $100,000 in income, they're going to send a W-4 or 1099 to the IRS, right? Or a W-2. I don't know. I get those two mixed up. Anyway, whatever. They're going to send. They're going to tell the IRS you made $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the IRS will see in their computer. And then you're going to give the IRS a tax return and says, yeah, that's true. I made $100,000, but I redeemed 80,000 of them for U.S. notes, and that's a legitimate deduction. So I only pay tax on 20,000 in income. That's how it works.
That's how it works.
And the first year you filed a tax return like this is 2014, right?
Correct.
Okay. So 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. Did you file your 2018 return yet?
Yes.
Wow. So 5 years of tax returns.
Yes.
Have you been audited?
No.
Wow. That's amazing.